Bang! Neevesknives. I'm Jared, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen, live on Neevesknives. How's everybody doing tonight? So, you guys seen the title? It is about Taylor Martin, best damn EDC. Now, I don't want anybody to think I'm hating on him. I'm not hating on him whatsoever. We are going to do a reaction to somebody else's video. Somebody else posted this video, and we're going to watch it. And I'm just going to give some feedback about some of the things he says. I didn't finish it. I seen some of it, and I figured, it'd be just good to watch with you guys. So we're going to check it out. This I don't know. It's from Marine X. That's the guy's channel. I don't know who he is. I'm not sure if I've met him before, like at Blade Show or anything. At least I can't remember if I did or not. I have met Taylor Martin. Me and him got a picture together at Blade Show Atlanta. But I don't know him. I don't know him at all. I have no reason to stick up for him, and I have also no reason to hate on him. He was a cool guy, shook my hand, very cordial. So no problems with him at all. But other than that, me and him have never had any, discord back and forth. I was surprised he even knew who I was at Blade Show. So, like I said, I'm not hating on the guy at all. I just want to see what this guy's got to say, and we're gonna talk about it. And I'll have to pause it because that's how this shit goes. We have to. So we'll pause it here and there, and we'll talk about what we've seen so far. It's kind of a long video. I don't know if we'll get through the whole thing. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. But I thought it was kind of weird, like, to see that title, and here it is right here. Why the best damn EDC Taylor Martin is bad for everyday carry. And here's the guy's video, so we might as well start it up right now. You guys ready? Or should we wait a couple minutes? Maybe we should wait about 2 minutes. Let's let some people get in here. But but like I said, I did see a little bit of the beginning. And also, I don't know that guy or his channel. This was like the first time I've seen his channel. I don't watch a lot of Taylor's videos either. I used to a long time ago, but I'm just so busy. I just don't really have time. Some of his videos are long form. But I do still check him out here and there. So I just want to be clear. I do obviously know exactly who he is. I've watched plenty of his videos. I've even been in some of his lives. And I just, like, 90% of his videos I don't see, though. So I don't know always what type of videos he's posting. I know the types of videos I've seen him post and the videos I've watched from him, but that doesn't, it's just like me, right? Like, I post so much different types of content. Like, some people don't even realize, because they'll see like some of the day-to-day videos and not realize like some of the videos I've already made. Like some of the testing videos and just all different kinds. So, like, I've tried to keep the type of videos I make just like super widespread, so you really never know what to expect. And I actually have some really good videos coming up really soon. I know some of the past videos, like in the past like week, I haven't, they're just kind of filler videos, stuff I have to do, like just first impressions and stuff. But I am working on some really good videos in the background. So let's check out this video. Hopefully you guys are plenty in here. Let me just turn it on over here. Okay, so 143 people in here. All right, let's start watching it.
Every 30 something,
let me know if you guys can hear
40 something, I'm almost there, EDC enthusiast seems to find themselves at some point.
Can you guys hear it just fine? Give me some feedback really quick on sound. I don't want it to keep going if it's not sounding good. Does it sound okay? Give me some feedback. Give me some feedback. Good? Clint Crosby? Yes, it's all good. Okay, all right, let's go.
Point visiting the best damn EDC. And why wouldn't you find yourself there? I mean, big influencer when it comes to Instagram and X. I guess it's called X now, not Twitter. And of course, the YouTubes. Now, there are those that have more subscribers than Taylor Martin from the best damn EDC. But when it comes to views and engagement and return viewership, he's pretty high swinging for the fences. And let's start off now by drinking my YouTube haterade, taking a sip. Haterade is something when you want something, but you don't quite yet have it. He has this YouTube thing figured out, at least for our space.
I do got to admit that was kind of funny what he just did with the haterade. That was cool.
It's the EDC.
It shows that he's like not being like 100% too serious, and he knows that, you know, people are gonna be saying in the comments like, "Oh, you're just hating, you're just hating." He's already pretty much prepared for that, letting you know, like, yeah, I'm hating right now, you know. So
outdoor survival. Well, he doesn't really do survival type stuff, enthusiast type content. This is not his first rodeo. And of course, when I went down the rabbit hole of everyday carry, I kind of ended up on the Carry Commission Best Damn EDC discipleship. And when I went down that hole, I saw the slick videos, the great Instagram posts, the very dark, meek colors, the balmy shots. It all just kind of grabbed me by the balls.
Pause.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. But before we jump into all that stuff, let's talk about Taylor Martin. Who is he? So he is a YouTuber, I think. I think that's what he mainly does. But he started off as a ghostwriter, according to his LinkedIn, and he kind of transitioned slowly but surely, always kind of been in the creative space. He was a writer, a video.
Shout out to Paul Aguirre. He says he seems like an industry plant.
Producer, and he started getting off into like outdoorsy and electronic type items. He was featured on CNET, etc., etc. And then the EDC community, chef's kiss, took off like a rocket ship. Fantastic video work, great looking videos, and very inclusive for his community. It just worked really, really well. He's coming out of North Carolina, gives that homey feel, pleasantly plump, kind of like me, has long flowy locks, just everything is looking fantastic. Some of you guys may be asking in the comments, but X, why are you hating? What is the big deal? What do you mean that he might be bad for EDC? Well, let me explain. Now, I mentioned all of his endeavors before, but he really seemed to catch widespread fame when it came to his YouTube channel. Been a big fan of some of the content, but I kind of see where it is necessarily could be slightly poisonous for the EDC community. What seemed to really propel him to being known in the EDC space is, at least one of the first videos I ever saw, was 25 best budget gear options under $20. It was a great video. It fit my niche very well, meaning I want to find some great gear. I don't want to spend more than 20 bucks. I want it to be useful. And it was fed to me on a platter. Now, over that time frame, he released the infotainment educational EDC content for quite a while. Kind of transitioned to like sponsored gear reviews and eventually his own merch line. Shout out to my merch line because I got one as well. But for the past few years, he's kind of just been chugging along, showcasing items, but they seem to be a lot of grail type items that don't really seem to be used very, very much, and a whole lot of pocket checks. It's not a lot of things that I think that are very useful.
Okay, so I do gotta make a comment really quick. One thing, things change as your channel grows. So like when I first started my channel, I think I left him a comment on his thing about this too. If you go in his comment section, I did leave him a comment to this video. Like I said, I never finished it, but I did get to the part where he talked about, like right here, where the stuff in his videos doesn't look like it's used. Well, when you have, like right now, like when I first started my channel, all my knives look beat up and used because I only had 15 knives, 10 or so knives, you know, so every single one of them got used constantly, and I was working and things like that, so they were my work knives. But when you acquire 30 plus 40 knives, 50 knives, you can rotate every day. So you never really beat on your knives so much because they don't ever go through multiple days of abuse, you know. And another thing, you learn to take care of your stuff a little bit better. You know, everybody remembers before you really took care of your knives, like you'd cut something and just leave the sticky shit on there, right? Now you probably look at it and you're like, I got to get that off. Because you know what's going to happen. It's going to make it cut worse. That's what leads to chippy edges and things like that, is you not cleaning your knife. So, I don't think saying that, because you don't see like that the knives are all beat up. That just to me just says he's taking care of them. And I said in the comment too that but one way what I look at is just edges. Has it been sharpened? Right? If you're talking about a knife that's never been sharpened and you've had it on the channel, say for a couple years or a year or 6 months, depending on the steel and things like that. 'Cause like I said, when you rotate, you can keep a factory edge going pretty good. But for the most part, if you've used it quite a bit, especially enough for a full review, then it should have a new edge on there, because that means you've used it to the point to where it needed to be resharpened. So that would be an indicator to me, not necessarily do they look worn, do they look beat up. But I can understand why somebody would think that watching, just if you say that, oh, I've been using this thing a lot and there's not even a scuff on it, I can kind of see that a little bit. But like I said, man, there's so many knives I have that I've used the living shit out of, and they look brand new. They look perfect, aside from having a new edge, So anyways,
Instance, one of my buddies, he's a male nurse. He's been carrying a Benchmade Griptilian for like 4 or 5 years. It
that's
is
what I'm
beat
carrying
up. He
right now.
doesn't sharpen it enough. It's
Dang.
all scratched up, scales all over the place. The action could be better. He wants a new knife. He gets on YouTube. He sees the best damn EDC, and he absolutely thinks that we are all out of our mind, wondering why is every single knife showcased, at least ones that he was kind of interested in, well over $200, flashlights over $300, items that didn't look used. He wasn't really sure. Could he trust his opinion? He being Taylor Martin's. If he has my buddy has a Griptilian, which is clearly used, has all sorts of scathing and scratch marks on it. And then he sees something being pulled out and showcased on Taylor's channel. Fantastic looking video, different angles, all that good stuff. He's not really sure if he can trust what he's seeing. I mean, on his channel, you do get the occasional gear review, but for the most part, it's either A, after the showing of his farm truck, or B, after a bunch of slick B-roll, or C, it's gear that doesn't really seem to be put through any kind of use factor. Now, I have gone through that same type of situation here on my channel where you get some item, I want to do a review, I might test it for a week, but I'll try to give you at least some feedback for it, maybe some B-roll. A lot of his stuff kind of seems to have transitioned away from that. A lot of times the gear kind of just sitting in the video while he's talking about other stuff. But is Taylor Martin really spreading or expanding everyday carry to the masses? I would say no, and here's why. He is very dominant in the EDC space, sort of like John Gadget or Accessorize Me, but the biggest thing I would say is that it's not really expanding the community in regards to bringing more people into the functionality and the practical nature of carrying EDC gear. It's kind of transitioning, feeding more of those who are already in the hobby, want to get in the hobby, and are going to spend a bag on some gear. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't think that expands it to the masses. Quite frankly, you really want some companies to invest more into EDC, pour more money into it, expand accessibility of it, get more females into the community, get more folks who can afford certain type of knives into the community, or make it more practical to carry this gear. And the type of content and stuff that he's posting is not really doing that. I have to label Taylor Martin as the chief cliche creator. There are tons of folks on Instagram, I being one of them in the past, who all want that dark, moody photo of their gear from their pockets or their bags. Most of it's snail trail free, full of titanium, overly priced, has a little bit of greenery, a little bit of smoke, very dark, moody photos. It's hackneyed. Everybody and their mom is doing it. Whatever he's doing, you can guarantee there's going to be at least 2,000 copycats right behind him on his coattails, trying to do the same thing through emulation. In my opinion, his videos are starting to come more about life.
So to me, that's a good thing. When you see channels coming up like on your coattails or like doing similar stuff, that it's not that they're like copying you, but that obviously means that your videos or your type of content was so inspirational that it grew an audience to the point to where other people wanted to join in. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I've always said from the beginning that like we want more channels. We want more people. Like, the community getting bigger is a beautiful thing. Since I started the knife community, it has grown massively, which I think is amazing. Right? Obviously, it's a good thing for me having an EDC channel, but I'm saying just period, people teaching other people, because it's going to be up to us to teach the next generation. And somebody saying about or was it? I wanted to It was about the sharpening. The average EDCer isn't on your level of sharpening Neeves. Many aren't. And I know that, but that's why I try to teach it. That's why I do a lot of videos teaching knife sharpening, to help people, so that they can get to that. Nobody starts there, right? So they'll get there, though, if they put in the work, and if they care to. Now, you can always get a system and learn how to do it on a system. And that's why I teach every type of knife sharpening, so you're not limited to just one kind. Let's continue.
Lifestyle EDC influencer type videos versus instructional, educational, or highlighting the value in gear. And when those value videos do come around, they seem to be kind of unused, sent to you untested. Now, don't get it wrong. I don't mind the intro with let's do the damn thing, roll the B-roll. I think you're transitioning to a TV show versus an EDC smorgasbord of information. Which one do you want to be? That's up to you. Start off with your intro, run your B-roll, get into the content. That can get hackneyed pretty fast. But like I said, this is not your first rodeo. Now, I will say that the EDC community, for a lot of us, is a hobby. But for me, I believe that it is function first, hobby second. And channels like Taylor Martin and the Best Damn EDC are kissing up closer to hobby first, function second. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. You may disagree. You're more than welcome to let me know that down in the comments, but absolutely no issues, because there's going to be hundreds of people simping in his comments anyway. So another reason I would say that he's not driving EDC to the masses, because whenever he shows a piece of gear, instantly or often, either the price of that item goes through the roof or it becomes sold out. So if you're trying to show us the functionality as you did 3 or 4 years ago as the Big Griffin pocket tool, it was sold out for a very long time. Now you can go pick it up on Amazon pretty easily, but he has since long passed items like that. If you're trying to show me the functionality of the TPT slide or of the garage built gear mighty pouch or something similar to that, as soon as you show it, it is gone. Why would that be beneficial to the community? Case in point, I show the video to folks who have no clue who he is. Some are women, different skin tones, some black and white. And a lot of folks are like, this stuff seems overpriced. I would like some of it. But A, the sense they got was a lot of stuff was sent to him and he's never used it before. B, if he has used it before, it was for the purpose of that video. And C, he had to pump out a video a week. And this is what he was talking about for that.
But wait a second. If he's already got all the videos out there, like say if he's got a ton of videos on getting an EDC for $50, getting an EDC for $100, getting an EDC for 100, he's got those videos out there for those people. So to expand and do videos with a lot of higher end stuff, that's just reaching another market, right? Like, as far as I go with my channel, I don't ever try to put myself in a box where I'm only doing affordable stuff or I'm only doing expensive stuff. I want to do everything, so that you can reach everybody's type of, or everybody's pockets, or everybody's what they want, basically, because there's so many different, like, there's people that have been in the EDC community for 10 over longer than me, right? So they're not going to be interested in like super affordable stuff. They're probably going to want to spend a little bit more, for the better quality stuff. So, that doesn't mean I have to spend a crazy amount, but the amount that they'll spend in most people's eyes would sound crazy, like some people, it's like, say a pen, right? A pen, you can get a pen for like $2-3, right? But EDC guys will carry titanium pens that are 50, 60, $100 or more. So that might be crazy to some people, but the longer in the community, you kind of, acquire those tastes. So, and that doesn't mean he doesn't, or he's not going to continue to do affordable stuff too. There's just a time and place. Aiden's Thank you for the 5 bones, Aiden. Taylor Martin got nothing on Neeves. Get your Halloween special calendar, fellas. My OF, my OnlyFans. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And he's got EDC at Walmart, at Lowe's, EDC at Runners. Yeah, like I said, I don't watch all of his content, but I do know, you know, a little bit of what he posts, you know, obviously just the stuff I've seen, but from the stuff I've seen him kind of jump around a little bit. Hey, Jared, is it okay if I do a video like this on you so I can get attention and grow? Yeah, I don't give a shit. Agreed, Jared. You have to do videos for everyone and for every price range. Yeah, and also you do have to evolve and you do have to know your audience. So I do think that's important. Now, let's be clear. He is the one looking at his analytics. He is the one who can see what the people like, what they don't like, you know. So he's definitely going to probably do the things he enjoys, but also try to do the majority of the stuff what the audience wants, right? Especially if he's doing it as a full-time job, which you know he is. So this is his job. So his job is to appeal to the audience and the masses. So he's probably going to try to hit that general mark. Now, the majority of the people will probably be more in the affordable range for sure. But you know, there's going to be every bit, and also, you know, kind of like he was saying, there is that aspect of what gets your attention. You know, sometimes those things like the really cool looking pictures and the photography, you know, even though they might be messed with a little bit, when you see them, they make you click, they make you watch, they make you, you know, they make you actually want to feel or touch the tool itself because, you know, it just looks so cool.
Specific week. And that was the same sentiment I got over and over and over. These are from folks who had no clue who he was. So what would be my advice for those trying to enter the space? Or if Taylor, you ever watched this video, try to get away from videos that feel like you got to knock this out. Some of your videos, at least from those that I've shown it to, feel like, I got to get a video out, spend 3 days or a week or however your posting schedule is. It feels like I need to post a video. Let me go ahead, turn on the light, turn on the camera and get her done. Try to get away from the get her done type aspect of your video. Maybe get.
I actually can. I understand that feeling. I get that sometimes because I try to post videos every day, but and I usually do. I usually try to do 2 videos every day, but what I was going to say is that some of the videos I want to do take a couple days to do. So sometimes I have to like kind of push some videos out there in order to be able to work on something. And it's not that I'm just pushing them out there. The videos I have to do. So it's not that I'm just pushing them out. I have to do them, but they're not necessarily videos that I would want to put first, you know, but I kind of am because they're faster and, you know, then I can work on another video or something like that. So I do kind of understand, you know, you're trying to keep up and, you know, channel can be difficult to keep up with. You know, the life comes, you know, you have life, you have lots of different things going on, and that doesn't mean work stops. So, and you know, especially running a channel, you have to stay relevant and you're always constantly battling the algorithm and the other people and, you know, so many things, and also people's attention spans and the audience. So obviously there is still an aspect you have to do what you enjoy, and that's how you actually gain an audience, is by actually enjoying it and being yourself. So but I'm not saying Taylor's doing that at all. You know, I don't, like I said, I haven't been really watching, but that's like what he's kind of saying, is that it kind of feels like, you know, the guy is just pumping stuff out and just trying to get videos out there just to have something up. But you know, I think everybody kind of runs into sometimes, you know, moments like that, you know, whether they last a week, a month, 6 months, I don't know.
Get away from your studio more, maybe get away from your intro or go with a GoPro, soften up your image. I don't know. That would be my first bit of advice. But like I say, this is not your first rodeo. You've already got this shit figured out. I'm just telling you this feedback that I got from others. Secondly, if you can roll in some B-roll of you using this crap, you know, cutting cardboard, snapping zip ties. I think you did a lot of that in the past. You're not really doing that anymore. So when I show this to strangers or folks that don't know who you are,
you know why? Let me tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why, because I already know why. Because nobody watches that shit. That's why. because like you'll go through and you'll spend a bunch of money and effort and time and editing to do a video with testing and stuff, and then nobody will watch it. And then you'll do something that's like, to you it's like so simple to do and doesn't take any effort, or at least a lot less effort, and everybody loves it and everybody wants to see it. So like I said, he sees his analytics, and I'm not saying that that's always right. There are some testing and some things that will be wanted to see, but there's like a lot of it people just are not, they're just not interested in watching. They just want to hear it, right? It's kind of like this, right? Would you rather see me do a cut test? Just hear me out. If I'm testing, let's say K390, would you rather watch me cut 800 cuts in rope or 800 feet of cardboard, or just me tell you it cut 800 feet of cardboard? You'd rather me just say it, right? If you see a little blip of me doing it, that's one thing, but you don't want to watch all that, you know. And so by posting that, it can actually hurt you in the algorithm, because what happens is people fast forward, they double tap, they double tap, they double tap, they just want to get through it, and the algorithm picks that up as, oh, these people don't like this video, they're trying to fast forward it, so they obviously don't like it, and then it knocks you down a little bit and doesn't make your video as good as it could have been, you know. And you have to kind of pace your video a certain way in order, which I think Taylor does a pretty good job with, pacing your video in a good way to where people's attention span doesn't go squirrel, you know.
Like you're selling them on something. You know all the specs about it, but that doesn't mean you've used it. Give us a little bit more of the juice.
I do too.
So that folks know that it's worth the squeeze. Get closer back to
I'm sorry guys. He says, I like when Cedric Canada does it. I do too. We love that stuff. But what I'm saying is the masses. I'm not talking about us. I love that's, I don't want to watch it, to be honest. I don't want to watch the cut test. I just want to hear it because I know he does it. That's the thing, is I trust him and I know he does it. That's so I don't need to watch it. I know he's recorded it, and I know if like I called on and said you didn't test it, he'd fucking send the video to me. You know what I mean? So I already know he does the test. But what I'm saying is that the masses will not. The masses will not. That's so boring to the masses to watch somebody cut stuff up. Like it just is, you know. Maybe if you're doing like a destruction test or like something like that to where it is crazy, that's different. But literally like an edge retention test, nobody cares to see it. They want to hear the results.
really showcasing EDC for the masses. I think you're very tailored, no pun intended, to folks that are already in the community, already into the hobby, not necessarily the person that's trying to get rid of their utility knife by Milwaukee and carry a real knife. Show some of the utility of carrying something like that versus the items that you show. But this is nothing that you need to hear from me, sir. You seem to already have this shit down. Another reason I think that the best damn EDC and Taylor Martin are not the best for the EDC community is he dominates the space. What does that mean? That means that other channels that I've been watching for a very long time, they seem to have a ceiling. When you search up an item that you want to see on YouTube, his stuff is kind of always at the top of the algorithm. Now, this is just really particular for us YouTubers, may not pertain to the masses. That means that other folks that are creating different type of content are going to have this hard ceiling of a couple thousand subscribers, or, you know, 10,000, 20,000 subscribers, or a few thousand views on their videos, and never be able to break through that threshold. Another thing for specifically for the EDC community, I think that he's normalizing a certain style of video. Hypocrite might be me for this video because I'm literally in my studio just talking to the camera, but I do like mixing it up. He mixes it up sometimes as well, but for the most part, him, 3 or 4 camera angles, got a editor, etc., etc. Same thing with a lot of these channels, either someone talking to the camera or someone just showing their hands and showing off some knives, not really expanding and trying to do anything more than that. I don't know if paving the way as that type of trailblazer is the best for the community. The other people in this space that are kind of breaking through and kind of like peeling the mold back when it comes to the EDC space, other than Taylor Martin, are folks that have a totally different type of style that he does. Maurice Moves has a way faster pacing, different editing style. John Gadget has a whole different type of variety of content that he shows on his channel, and he has an awesome accent. You also have folks like Accessorize Me, who in and of himself is his own type of brand, but he's always slapping shit around the screen. 3 different styles of content, but everybody else that falls in that Taylor Martin space, your stuff's not going to be seen on the YouTube algorithm
That's
unless you
not
do
true.
something crazy like with your thumbnail or your title.
But that's every
That's about
channel.
it. Another
You're supposed to do that. That's the only way you're gonna get them to click. Like, think about that. Like, you have to have good thumbnails and titles. Otherwise, like, nobody's gonna click. Right? That's the first way. It doesn't you can make the best video in the world. The best video in the fucking world you can make. But if you don't have a good thumbnail and title, it doesn't matter. Nobody will see it. Literally, the best video probably on YouTube right now that could potentially be the best video is the worst video because it had a bad thumbnail and title. Anybody who has a channel, over time, that's the one thing you're going to learn. You're going to learn that the most important thing is your thumbnail and title, and then second is the content. Now, the content you want to make as good as possible, but it doesn't matter if you haven't gotten the person to watch. So, but as far as him leading the algorithm, he is in a lot of ways, but then also, like, there's a lot of other people. Like Stasa23 is up there, Metal Complex is up there. I know I got some videos up there. I can think of a lot of channels that have videos up there at the top of the algorithm. And if somebody did a video like last year and you do another video that's similar, that's pretty good, they'll prioritize yours because it's the next year. So there is ways to push yourself in there, and there's ways to use, different titling and things like that. But I do kind of feel like he's hating like quite a bit because Taylor's obviously, he's like somebody else said, was he supposed to throw his channel away? Like, I mean, I guess what he's trying to say is that to appeal to the masses a little bit more, so that, and he obviously admitted that he was being a hater too, so he's drinking his haterade, but he's trying to say to appeal to the masses, so that you can help get people into EDC. But I don't think that's his market anymore. I think that was his market maybe in the beginning. Now he's got a huge audience. So he's already got a huge audience. His goal is to fulfill the like his audience. That's basically what it is. So like when you have a channel, right? And if it gets to a certain size, you have one of two goals. One, to grow your channel bigger, or two, to get more views out of the people you already have, right? Like right now, I don't really care about growing the channel anymore. Like, it's going to naturally happen, but I'm not working towards it. That's why I haven't been posting tons of shorts or anything. But what I want to do is I'd rather get the majority of the people that I already have to watch and click. So there is different ways to look at it. And there's so many channels out there now. There's so many channels that there's people already doing that. So the thing that he's wanting to see from him, there's other channels already doing it. But what about the people that want to see the stuff that Taylor Martin's doing? What do they got? They got Taylor Martin. So I do, and I see a lot of you guys saying like he's just making this to get clout or whatever. I don't know if that's true. I didn't even look and see how many subs he has. He could be big. I don't know. I didn't even look. I should have looked. I'll look here in a second. I'm going to read some of these comments and then we'll continue because it's almost over. Man just needs to figure them audiences is all. Plenty of people to each creator. Yeah, there's enough people out there. And like if you're in the beginning or if your channel's smaller, then your goal is to grow. And there's nothing wrong with that. So you want to appeal to the masses as much as possible and grow your channel. And then, when you have an audience watching all the time, you can make them happy too. You want to try to make everybody happy, but as much as possible. But obviously yourself is the most important. We all need to support one another. If he doesn't like Martin's content, just ignore it. Yeah, I agree. I just thought it was a fun video to react to. He also plagiarized this video off of a guy who was ripping on Peter McKinnon. What do you mean? So somebody else did a hit piece on Peter? Is that what you're saying? I'm gonna start an EDC banana hammock video. All right, so this video from Marine X is unacceptable. I wasn't a huge fan of his to begin with, but now I unfollowed. Ooh. I wouldn't say hate on him. I mean, he's just being honest, right? I think, sometimes people are going to make some videos, that they might not you might not like, right? But I don't think that's a reason to hate on him. You know, there are other videos you might love. So, you know, not every video is set just for you. You know, some videos you do got to ignore a little bit, but I get it though. I feel like this guy thinks he has more mass appeal, but can't break through the algorithm and decided to complain about Taylor. You know what's funny about that, Pirate, is that that's what happened to me a long time ago, and I'm sure you guys remember. I'm not going to say the guy's name, but the guy made 2 hit pieces on me, and his number one complaint was that my description was hurting his chances of looking things up. Because like when he would look up cold steel or something, videos of mine would pop up that didn't have any cold steels in them, because I had like cold steel in the description or something, as a link or something. I don't know, but the point is though is that he, you know, the way he was acting towards it, it was like he was trying to make it seem like that I was doing something wrong when I wasn't doing anything wrong. But and also the guy didn't understand the algorithm at all, so the things he was saying just didn't make sense. I did a response to it, but I was really nice though, because I know the guy just didn't understand what he was talking about, which, you know, you're gonna have. I like Neeves hasn't noticed me once. What the fuck? I've seen you, man. I've seen you in here. I almost said something while we were watching, but shout out to Tri-State EDC. Definitely go and subscribe to his channel. Maybe make a hit piece on it. Maybe contact me and we'll collab. He's copied that guy in sections almost word for word and even used the same thumbnail style and colors. You're going to see a lot of that because people, like, there's certain thumbnails and certain lettering, certain this, certain that just appeals to people's eyes and gets, you know, it's kind of like, do you guys remember, like, I'm sure you guys heard this, like, about like McDonald's, why they pick the colors they picked, right? You know, because it makes you hungry or whatever. Well, it's kind of like that. There's going to be certain types of thumbnails and titles and stuff that's just appealing to the masses and appealing to people, and it's going to be more likely to get people's attention. Even like controversy and stuff like that, that always gets people's attention, whether you mean bad or not, you know. I think Marine X is jealous because Taylor has a video man and an editor and putting out way better content. Yeah, that's the thing, man. When you start stepping up, man, you need an editor, and more power to him, man. I'm happy for him. Anybody who can, you know, if he's making the money to be able to pay an editor, that's awesome, man. Good for him. I'm rooting for him. I'm going to make a video about how Neeves Tri-State Knives Fast is drastically better content than my videos. Reverse psychology. Then have a bunch of reaction videos. No, that's not true. No. Down to the color over Pete McKinnon's eyes being the same style over Taylor Martin's. Just very weird overall. Oh, you're saying he did the exact same video about Peter McKinnon. Huh. Maybe I should have seen that one. I didn't see that one. All right. Well, we're almost done with it. So
The complaint I got from those that I showed the video is that his videos don't really seem to go that deep. I've already talked about how to kind of change it up a little bit, but one of my buddies commented and said that he felt like it was the blind leading the blind. Now, he's a prior Marine, but a lot of times if people don't know your background, they don't know why they should follow you or they should listen to you. They kind of do get that feeling of the blind leading the blind. I myself have no clue why I should take advice from Taylor Martin in the best damn EDC, other than the fact he has a lot of gear and he likes to be outdoors. I guess because he's used it a lot, but give me more meat and potatoes about you in the background every now and again, not every freaking video. My channel is called Marine X. You can almost guess my background, but for yours, sir, I don't know what it is. And for the new viewer, I would just hate for them to come up on your channel, see some gear, wonder why they should follow you, and then move on. Now, I call him the chief cliche creator because one of my favorite soapboxes to climb up to on this channel every now and again is just things that make no sense, at least for functionality with EDC. You've heard me talk about it before. I'm going to be making a video here soon about de-influencing some of the things that you should not carry. But titanium, everything, and beads and lanyards and pocket art and trash and all that type of stuff, he's a contributor to that. A lot of stuff is being spent. A lot of people are missing obligations because they're going from functionality in their EDC to hobbyists entirely too quickly. Sometimes it's because of Taylor Martin in the best damn EDC. Now I have to keep it real with y'all. Me making these videos is my creative outlet. My day job doesn't really allow for a creative outlet. I'm an auditor by trade, professor by trade. So a lot of times there's not really any room for a big creative outlet. So I make these.
What did he say? He's an auditor? Yeah, I want to hear that again.
Allow for a creative outlet. I'm an auditor by trade, professor by trade. So
did I catch that right? Auditor? So he does audits?
Okay. A lot of times there's not really any room for a big creative outlet. So I make these videos for
defense contract auditor. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That type of stuff. People in the EDC community, whether they're hobbyists as well, that sometimes that's their creative outlet. But I don't want people that are using this for a hobby to be led down a path that's going to cost them tons of money, or they're going to take them to fads, or they're just going to fade away. Finally, I kind of have a big bone to pick when it comes to your collaborations into your merch. Some of your stuff is reasonably priced. I have your carry commission bum bags, only $40. It digs into the neck. I've done an entire video on it if you want to check that out. But some of your items are just out of this world pricey. And I think it's because of your brand, your name, some of the designs, the materials, but it doesn't need to be. I mean, $380 flashlights and super expensive utility knives and knife rolls and all sorts of stuff that are just entirely too expensive, too goddamn high, some folks will call it as well. And I don't think they need to be there, and they're there because you can get it and you can make it that price. Doesn't mean you should. That type of stuff can lead to a toxic nature in the EDC community where everyone feels like they need to bump up their prices. Look at these knife makers. At the end of the day, they're using the same materials. You're getting steel from the earth. You're heating it up. You're creating an edge. You're putting it between some scales.
Well, that's a very limited way of looking at it. There are so many different kinds of steels. Then there's different kinds of, different qualities and heat treatments, different HRCs. That's like saying all the M390s the same, right? Even though we know for a fact that there are shit M390 out there that you can get really cheap, and then there's really good M390 out there. So that's a weird way to say it, like, because it doesn't matter. Like, companies can use the same materials, but sometimes they're not. Like, titanium's not just titanium. There's certain titanium that's better than other titanium. That anodizes better. That's just all around better. Same thing with aluminum. There's different grades of aluminum, just like steels. There's different grades of steel. So to say that they're using the same material, some of them are, but you do notice a lot of them do fall pretty much in the same price bracket, depending on if there's a designer and this and that, so there might be, some dollars a little bit more over here and a little bit less over there. But for the most part, I think coming like from a Marine or like Navy SEALs or people in the military, whatever, anything like that, I think they should watch more knife videos, because then they probably stop carrying such crap. Right. And I'm not saying they all do, but a lot of them do. A lot of them are carrying just junk, CRKTs and things like that, when there's so much better out there. But they just don't know about it because they're not watching it. And sometimes, like, some of the things I've seen some people carry, and it's like, if you only had 50, 60, 70 bucks to spend, whatever they spent on that knife, they could have went so much better and got something so much better. But yeah, it's kind of weird, like, to appeal, because his audience, he already has a big audience. So his audience is big enough to where those people all have a lot of the same stuff he does. You know what I mean? Like maybe not everything he has, but I guarantee probably 100,000 of his audience. What is he at? Like 500,000 or something, whatever he's at. I guarantee at least 100,000 of those people have probably over 50 knives in their collection. But yeah, you still do want to appeal to the people that are, working, like I try to do that too, make a lot of like working knives videos and things like that, but appeal to the people that are out there that are going to be using it, that are looking for a knife or looking to get into the community. But you know, there's just so many channels out there, so there is, you know, if you're wanting to get into the community, you can find your way in pretty easily.
Opening it up and cutting shit. Prices for knives are going through the roof because these knife makers feel like that folks in the EDC community are a bunch of marks. Taylor Martin, you're making us look like a bunch of freaking marks. I just don't want more people getting into the EDC community that are making vapid, disingenuous content just to extract dollars from the community, because it can definitely happen. And I would not necessarily always want to be the guy that has to worry about that. I'm just telling you that the way things are going now in the best damn EDC, it may not be the best for the EDC community.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I do think he was kind of hating a little bit. He's obviously trying to get, and I'm not saying he's trying to get clout, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I want to be clear. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing videos on other channels or anything like that. When you're doing YouTube, that's what you're gonna get, especially if you start getting big. And there's, to me, there's nothing wrong with it. To me, I consider it like I'm basically, when I see somebody do anything on me, like I'm flattered. I'm flattered as a motherfucker. But there's going to be people that are going to do that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, like what he's doing right there. But there is a line of which it's like, you know, Taylor obviously knows what he's doing. He's doing a really good job. He's been doing it for a long time. He's the one looking at his analytics. He knows what his audience wants. He also knows what the masses want. He knows. I promise you that motherfucker knows. He knows this game very, very well. And I'm not trying to stick up for him in any way, shape, or form. Like I said, I have no reason to. You know, I've only met him one time. I don't know him. We don't talk. We don't talk on Instagram. We don't go back and forth. We never have. Like if I go to my Instagram right now, I guarantee we don't have one message back and forth. So, but that doesn't stop the truth from just being the truth. You know, he's got a big channel. He's been doing this for a long time. He had a channel previously, I believe. And I think he said this a long time with it. He had a channel, he got up to like 12,000, and then he closed it down, he restarted, and that's when he started Best Damn EDC. And I understand why he did that too. He probably did that because by the time he got to 12,000, he learned so much that getting into the EDC community and starting a new channel, he'd be able to go so much faster and farther, starting knowing, like even me right now, like when I started the channel, I knew nothing. Like when I say nothing, I mean nothing. I didn't even know how to use Instagram. So I started at nothing. And now, like if I started a new channel, or when I start a new channel, which I am, it's going to be so much easier to go faster. It'll be so much easier to do thumbnails and titles and to understand the algorithm, because I already do. I used to buy knives that just read stainless on the blade. Must be good stainless. Yeah, must be good at stainless. Yeah. Everybody's done that too. Like you'll see German stainless, like, ooh, fucking German stainless, huh? Yeah, people just don't know. They don't understand. You know, there's different steel grades and everything. And that's what a lot of like I was saying, like Marines and things like that, they might not know, you know, that like to be able to look at something and say, is this a good, because just because the page or whatever, you know, wherever you're getting it from says it's awesome and says it can do all this, that doesn't mean it's true. Like just looking at the materials, you can see that, like, is this thing built to do what it's claiming? Right? Is this lock a strong enough lock to do what it's claiming it can do? Is this the right steel for that job? Is it the right geometry? Is the right this, that, you know, you guys know all this stuff. I've subbed to probably 20 creators. I only watch 5 or 6 all the time. One in particular, I've completely given up on, but that's just me. This channel gives information. Oh, I read that one. Like I said, Jared, your new FLN, I would have loved that strap to my feet, to my vest in combat zone. I actually would have came in handy a couple of times. Let me read that again. Like I said, Jared, your new FLN. When he's talking about the knife right here. We'll talk about it in 1 second. I would have loved that strapped to my vest in combat zone. Actually, would have came in handy a couple of times. Yeah, so just so you guys know, October 1st, the pre-orders are opening up for the FLN, aka the Felon, and then they will be finished early early November. So you'll probably have them in your hands before the 15th. So like the early beginning, like they're supposedly going to be done by like the 1st. So, you know, gives it time to ship out and stuff like that. So anyways, and that is the Felon or the FLN. Because of insurance reasons, they can't write Felon on it, so they're going to write FLN. So we're just going to call it the Felon. You know, in the future, like I said, I'll probably come up with another design where it actually says Felon on it. But I really wanted this to have that name just because it's so nasty looking the way it is. It just screamed to me that's what the name should be. The FLN is still dope though, and this thing is so mean. This thing is so fucking aggressive. I can't wait to get the production versions in hand. Assholes like him with the platform are the biggest cause of huge mass misconceptions, all because he's speaking on the topic that he's ignorant on. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's ignorant though. I don't know. Let's do this really quick just to make sure. I want to see because I didn't look at all. Let's see how many subs does he have. He has 51,000 subs. So he's got 50. Let's do a deep dive. He has 51,000 subs with 350 videos. That's actually really good. He's actually done really good for himself. So he's doing pretty good. He's on his way up there with that many videos and 51,000. That's he understands his thumbnails. He's doing really good with thumbnails and titles and stuff. So he's doing a pretty good job. So I would imagine he knows what he's talking about to some extent. Puppet Boy's been a member for 3 months. Why are bad sharpening choils the norm? Because knife designers are not necessarily knife users or knife sharpeners, you know. So in many cases, you learn the choils and you learn the plunge grinds after you sharpen, after you've had a knife and you've actually put some use on it. You know, like if you have a large collection and you never come off of a factory edge because you're not really, you're just opening up packages here and there and you have 30, 40 knives. So, you know, you're not really burning up your edges. You never really get the chance to really beat on your knife. But when you start getting microchips in your edge and you have to get those fuckers out and now you have to sharpen back your edge and now you have to actually get rid of quite a bit of steel off of an edge, that's when you start learning about choils and stuff because you start hitting that area. You have to. So it just takes use and stuff. And a lot of knife companies, they make knives, they don't use knives. A lot of knife designers design knives, they don't use knives or sharpen them. So it just takes, you know, the knowledge of knowing. That's why, you know, I think it's the best designers are always going to be the guys who have used knives, who understand. Now, there is a time and place for a non-choil knife. I want to be clear. I've like just for an example, a diving knife. A diving knife would be a knife where you really don't want a choil because the thought of it getting caught on the rope, you know, in the choil area, and you not getting that slash because you have seconds. So every second counts, you know, if you're underwater. So you want the rope to slide right into the edge with it's already cutting as soon as it touches, instead of snagging the choil. So there is a time and a place for that, and so there's some other knives that are also for that reason too, you know, for some work knives and things like that, but they're usually designed a certain way. I have a few hemostats that are labeled German surgical steel. They clutch a roach. They clutch a roach well. Yeah, the German stainless, man. That just basically says shit. When I see it, I know it's shit. Null Knives, Raikou pre-order tomorrow night. Let's go. Yeah, shout out to the Raikou. You got it right here. Null Knives Raikou. The pre-orders opening up tomorrow night. Bang bang. That's awesome. Badass knife. He always does good shit. LP's been a member for 6 months. Get your felon, FLN. October 1st, pre-orders open. Thank you, brother. I do appreciate it. Yeah, man. That's it, man. I'm really excited about this. And I do have some other stuff in the works for the future. And then I'm going to start really putting some stuff on paper here soon and start opening up and start really doing a lot more designs. Because I really, and it's kind of stupid that I haven't yet, because all the criticisms I make on knives and, you know, from the, and also all the years I've used knives, you know, since I was a kid, you know, and I grew up using a knife even at work, like constantly. So like I've used a knife in every way, shape, and form. So, you know, it's probably smart that I design knives, because, you know, I can hopefully, well, I know I can, I don't, you know, hope, I can design a knife that I know will be good for people for that specific type of use, because I do think that that's important too, to design a knife for whatever use, you know, like for example, if you're going to make a skinning knife, right? If you're going to make a skinning knife, you're not going to make a knife that works as a pry bar, right? You're going to be using, it's going to have thin geometry, a certain type of blade shape, you know, to be specific for that task. Now, if you're making a versatile tool, you know, or a work knife or something, then, you know, you might go a little bit left and right. If you have the chat, unlike the video really quick, and then everyone relike the stream all at the same time, it tricks the algorithm into promoting your channel with more impressions. Thanks, Steven. Yes, definitely do that. I appreciate it. Definitely hit that damn like button. If you've already hit it, unhit it and hit it back again. TKELL, yes, thank you, Todd. There's the link to TKELL Knives. That's where the pre-order will be, is on his page. He's getting it done now. Man, Null Knives looks amazing. The Raikou and the Voodoo both look amazing. I want one bad. Duty did a great video on one this week. Yeah, man, they're fucking awesome. All the knives from Null Knives have been just fantastic. You see the Tracy Larrick custom slip joint on Urban EDC, really thinking about buying it. It's a beast of a slip joint with a Hamon H2 blade. You know anything about H2? No, but I hate H1. I don't know what H2 is. I have no idea what H2 is. I was trying to think. No, H1 I know I don't like, but I don't know about H2. Servicemen buy cheap knives because that's what they have at the PX, and lower ranking guys, backbone of the military, don't make enough to buy premium knives. I don't expect them to ever buy premium knives. So let me be clear. I don't expect premium knives from any of those guys, because I would say, okay, if you're out of the military, I would say you should probably buy a premium knife. If you're in the military and you're on certain missions and shit, then I think you should probably buy somewhat of a premium knife if you can afford it. But that doesn't mean you have to. I would say most of the people in the military should be getting just a quality knife, or, you know, around 120 or less. You know, maybe if they want to go USA made, they could probably go, you know, $200 and less and get a really good USA made knife. They're probably going to be fixed blades from Tops, things like that. But going to companies that make knives specifically for those duties, which I think Tops would probably be my number one, or like TKELL knives, Tops knives, things like that. Knives that are built to be fucking tough, that are built for combat. But I also think, you know, there's a difference, right? There's a difference in, you know, a knife that's supposed to do a lot of damage, and a knife that's going to be used as a general tool, right? So the general tool, I think, you know, a good quality fixed blade that could be used for both is probably where they're going to want to be. Jared broke me. I thought my knives were sharp until I saw his videos. Now I'm on lapping paper and diamond emulsions. My guy definitely broke me. Well, that's a good thing, though, right? Isn't that a good thing? And now, man, you're going to be getting some of them sick, nasty edges. And one of these days, you're going to run into somebody and they're going to say the same thing to you. Like, damn, man, I thought I had some sharp edges. They pull out a knife and show you their knife. check this knife out, man. Ooh, it's so sharp. And then you're like, yeah, check this one out. Then they see yours and you're like, this son of a bitch knows my knife is dull now. Condor's another good one. Makes some great inexpensive fixed blades, and their machetes are some of the best in the market. Yeah, no, I think they're great for machetes. Is M3 Tactical here in the US? Yeah, but I don't fuck with them no more after what they did. So I don't know. I wouldn't trust anything from those guys. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a hater, but after what they did last year or earlier this year, whenever the fuck it was, I won't even, when I see them on Instagram, I scroll right past. I just keep going. They fucked up. So I will never trust anything that comes out of their factory. There's no way they could ever tell me something was USA made again. Silvano, remember, for 4 months, a good OTF around 300 bones. Well, Microtech is probably going to be a good way to go. But you got Heretic, you got Microtech, you got Benchmade. Benchmade's got some good OTFs. And then you have Tecto. Tecto's a good one. They got one of their new ones right here. It's in S35VN. They make pretty good OTFs. This is the A5 Spry, aluminum body, S35. Come on, double-edged. There is other blade shapes though. But there's a lot of great OTFs. As long as you're willing to spend $300, you can find a decent one. These are two something. So you can find some good ones for, $300. Axial gear. Yes, thank you. Axial gear is another one. Guardian Tactical is another one. Yep. Yeah, that's what I mean. There's a bunch of good ones, but I would recommend, to be honest, I'd recommend going USA. This is the closest I would go to China, and they're still USA. They're just, the parts are made in China. They're shipped here. I forget where they're at. They're in Portland. So they ship to Portland, and then they assemble them, tune them, sharpen them, and do all that stuff in their shop. So it's at least 51% USA made. And I've never seen them in the civilian market, just from service members. Yeah, the Kershaw Livewire, that's another good one for sure. Army specifically, and I've never seen them on civilian market, just from service members. Army specifically. W2, not H2. Okay, maybe it is W2. Yeah, I've heard of that steel. I've seen a couple military issued Benchmade, since people are saying service knives are cheap. Benchmade makes some really good knives that I think would go good in, because a lot of police carry Benchmades. I think they should start moving more towards the Hogue, but there are some really good Benchmades still out there. I'm carrying a Benchmade Griptilian right now. Fucking love it. There's a lot of great Benchmades. There's a lot of great Hogue knives. I know a lot of the military are going to want to lean more towards the USA as much as possible. So those would be the companies that I would push them towards, are probably those ones, if it's fixed blades, then probably Tops. But if they want to get like the best bang for their buck, then that would be, I would obviously give a different list, because they're not going to want to spend $250, right? If you want them to spend the best $100 they can spend, then you're probably going to send them somewhere else, like to Taiwan or something, probably like Cold Steel, something like that. Are they even allowed to have knives in Portland? Probably not, but they can make them. They can make them and ship them. Depending on the unit, service members can get premium knives from their supply companies. Yeah, I watched this one guy, and he went through his whole knife collection, and most of them were given to him from the service or whatever. Some of them were okay, but not like super good quality. You could tell like they were like, how can you say it? They were like made for the military, but not necessarily the best. Like, I don't know. Like they're like AUS-8 steel, things like that. There was one that was S30V that seemed pretty decent. Uh, but yeah, but you could tell he used the shit out of those knives. Those knives were all fixed blades and they were all beat to shit in a good way. So yeah. And that's why I say, you know, having a nice tough fixed blade is what they need the most. Many of you guys know Ellie Folk. He's out there in Portland, Oregon, and carries around that cold steel Esplanada XL. Oh yeah. All right, let's get to something else. So what the hell was I was gonna tell you guys about something. Oh yeah, check this out. Okay. So I don't want to talk shit. So they contact me and they said they want to send me a knife, right? I said, okay. I seen the knife and I already kind of had, you know, like I already kind of knew what time it was. But the blade steel was different. And I'm about to show you guys, and you guys are already gonna know what I'm talking about. So if you guys don't know, the Husk Knives thing, I did a whole video on it. You guys can go check it out. Husk Knives I think towards the end of that video of companies you should stay away from. Well, this is not Husk Knives. Okay, let me be clear. This is Shanzhou. Okay, Shanzhou. This is 14C28N, not pot steel. Okay, so pot steel is what the other ones were made out of, and it was garbage. So I did not make a video on this because I was already prepared to kind of drag it a little bit. Well, the company contacted me and basically said, hey, if you know, like we've gotten some feedback on this knife and it's not good. And if you are just going to wind up dragging it, would you mind just not even posting it? And I said, yeah, it's fine. They're going to make a whole new design. They're going to dump this, get rid of it, and make a whole new lineup of things that are better. So the problem with this is everything. Everything. If it's made for the outdoors, it's not good for the outdoors. If it's made for the kitchen, it's not good for the kitchen. It's just there's nothing, I don't see anything good about it in any way, shape, or form. What are you doing with your finger there? Right? I can see for food, right? Okay, so let's say for food, maybe, but it's too thick. This isn't for food. It is way too thick. Let's say it's for wood. Well, if it's for wood, then what the fuck is the hole for? And then this blade shape for wood, you're going to be cracking on top of that thing, on top of like it just doesn't make sense, you know, when you're batoning. Um, the ergonomics, the way it leans forward, it's more like a self-defense knife than anything. The way the blade shape is, that's more what it's like. It's more for that, not kitchen or outdoor. So I was literally on the verge of making the video, and then I seen their message, and you know, it's kind of good because I really didn't even want to make the video, because not that I didn't want to talk shit about the knife, you know, because if I have to talk shit about the knife, I'm going to do that. But it's just, you know, you already know. And I knew before saying yes to them, to be honest. I knew before telling them they could send it. But I figured, hey, it might make a good video. That's what I was thinking. Knowing that I'm probably going to have to drag it, because the number one thing I have to drag it for, sorry, I got off topic. The number one thing I want to drag it for is the fact that they even use that design. What the fuck are you thinking, using a design that is known as a scammer? So those of you that don't know, let's just run it back. This same design, this exact same design from Husk Knives is a scam. It's a giant scam. It's pot steel. It's literally, watch Pete from Cedric Canada. He tested them, and you'll see they are just absolute junk, garbage. But they try to even their site and everything on their site's all fake. Like it's all photoshopped and stuff like that. They make it seem like there's like high quality chefs using their shit, and they're selling them for like $50. You know, like crazy, even though it's worth like $3. Like literal pot steel. Like it shouldn't even be on a knife. So people realized that it was a giant scam. They couldn't return them. They couldn't this. They couldn't that. Like it just wound up being a giant scam. And why would you make it? That's like, I'm trying to think of another knife that's like using the name M-Tech or something. I don't know. Like to use that design is just crazy. I don't know if they seen the knife, like the Husk knives, and thought like, oh, this is a high selling knife. Maybe we should make a better one. I don't know what they were thinking, but that was not smart on their end. Not smart at all. That could make people like just hate your company. I cut the fuck out of a brick of cheese with this knife. You can guard pumpkins and fuck someone up with that thing. Yes, sir. What happened to Stuart the Duck? I don't know, man. I don't know. Those of you that don't know who Stuart the Duck is, I go on these walks every day, and I found this little tiny ducky is about this big, and I put it on this ledge of this bridge I go over every day. And I knew a kid was going to pick it up, or it was going to, I don't know, get taken away by the wind or something. But it sat there for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Every day I went by, got to pet him. And then the last day he was there, I went up and he was gone. He was gone. For me, the grip sheep's foot, the super freak, the bug out with aluminum scales, and M390. I say I like the grip and the super freak. The bug out, I would go more towards the bailout. What do you think about the price of Medford knives? They're fine. I mean, they're USA made. They're a lot of handwork, so you can't compare them to production companies. They're made in small batches, and they have a lot of handwork. They're using they're all USA parts. A lot of their machines are probably USA made, not all of them, but a lot of them. So I'm not mad at it. He's got a pretty big team. I kind of understand. They're high-end knives. They're not for everybody. So, but the thing is though, is that not everything is for everybody, right? Rolexes aren't made for the homeless, right? So, that's the way I look at it. There's going to be a market everywhere. Like just because a Cavalier exists doesn't mean a Ferrari shouldn't exist. I think that them being out there is a beautiful thing. But some of the prices you could say they're maybe a little bit high, but he's probably got a huge overhead and a lot of things, insurances, and he's got a team he has to pay. So I get it. Bootleg and tech. What do you think about I read that one. Full lethal Neeves. That's a good one. I work at a shooting range where I have to open a metric shit ton of boxes. Do you recommend any utility knives I could buy? Yes, I do. So if you're wanting a pocket knife, so man, this is the thing, is that it depends on how much money you want to spend. How much money do you want to spend? Because if you're opening a shit ton of boxes, then I would tell you to get the K390, Maxace, something like that, right? If you're just opening boxes, and I'm saying that because these are steels, like say Maxace. Maxace's a steel that's going to hold an edge for a very, very long time. And as long as you're only cutting tape and boxes and stuff like that, it will last for a very, very long time. Keep it clean it every day, but you're going to spend some money on that. Right. I can tell you go with the Stretch in K390. That's a really good one. K390 is a fucking beast. Again, it's going to last for a very, very long time as long as you keep it clean. And as long as you're not using it on dumb shit. Now, if you're only in the $50 to $100 price range, I'd probably tell you the new Civivi Elementum in Nitro V steel. It's a good mid-grade steel. It'll hold an edge for a pretty decent amount of time. You're going to have to sharpen it up more often than some of those other knives I just mentioned, but or you could just get a folding utility blade, kind of like the ones I've been showing the past few days. There's actually a new brand right here too. I can't show it. Yeah, I gotta show it tomorrow. But they have replaceable blades, so you could go with one of those and then just constantly replace your blade every week or so, every 2 weeks. That might be the way to go. Did you see that? But personally, for me, I like just having a pocket knife, but I also like to sharpen though. Did you see Medford's video about the grinds Greg posted? No, I don't think so. Was it recent? The one Metal Complex had was the best Medford I have seen. Which one? Because he's had a bunch of them on his channel. My favorite is the Marauder, the Slim Midi. That's my favorite. I really like those. They're just, to me, they're badass EDC knives. And then the Marauder is a fucking beast. It's a tank of a knife. And then there's the Midi. I like probably the Midi and the Slim Midi the most. The Hellraiser, yeah, the Hellraiser is pretty dope. Yojimbo, yeah, these are all great right here. Yojimbo, K390 Endura, M4 Bailout are some of my favorite box killers. Yeah. Yeah, K390, anything. You can go with the K390, what the heck's it called? I just said it a minute ago. I can't even think now. But anything with K390 from Spyderco is really good. And Spyderco's blade shape is really good for opening boxes. That's the beautiful thing with Spyderco's. Is they have that beautiful blade shape that has a low tip, so you can open up things really nicely. Their Wharncliffes are really nice. This is a box destroyer right here, especially with a Wharncliffe, nice and thin. Even if it's dull, it'll still cut. I would love to see a new version of this. In fact, I might just have to design something. Yeah, the Wharncliffe Delica. Yeah. Ricasso that keeps you locking. What? Locking in the cutting path? Ricasso that keeps you locked in the cutting path. I posted a video about 2 Medfords that had shitty edges, and Greg responded with 2 live casts. Yeah, he'll do that. So you talk shit about him, and he went live about it. I posted a video about 2 Medfords that had shitty edges. What was wrong with the edges? Were they from the factory edges? Now I don't know what type of knife sharpening you do, but it's, you probably see a lot of factory edges. There's good factory edges, there's bad factory edges. Medfords in a lot of cases are very thick. Their geometry's thick, so they're not going to come with a super low angle edge. So if you want to have them high performance, high cutting, high sharpness, you have to resharpen them at lower angles. Now depending on the knife, right? Because they have some that come thinner, like the Slim Midi and things like that. So it just depends on which one. Hey, Mom. Hope everyone's doing great and having a wonderful evening. I hope you are too, Mom. Design a larger button for likes. These people can't find it, it appears. I appreciate it if you guys hit the like button. 234 people in here. Please hit the like button. I do appreciate it. I would get an Elementum, but I'm a lefty. It doesn't really affect the knife, but it is a little annoying not having a reversible grip. Bad mark on you, Savivi. So what time is it? 8:47. So here in a minute, I do want to bring up one leather and tobacco fragrance, but I figured we talk about knife sharpening a little bit. I did want to do a little story time, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. My Medford TFF1 slices foam paper, no problem. Yeah, man, dude, I've sharpened up a million Medfords. I got a Medford right now. It's got a screaming sharp edge on it. Just factory edges are never going to be as good as stone edges. And the reason why is, so a belt, one, depending on the steel, aluminum oxide is never going to get you the high performance edge as diamonds with certain steels. So the fact that it's done with a belt that has aluminum oxide on it rather than diamonds is not going to be superior. And then another thing is that a belt is running at a high speed. So even if it's at a low speed and not burning the edge, because that's the other sacrifice, a lot of times it burns the edge. So it burns the edge, and then the edge, you have to resharpen it in order to get into good steel because the edge was burnt. Now, even if they use low, like not high speed belts, and they're using, low speed and not burning the edge, they still ever so slightly convex. Now, there are some belts that are really tight that can do a perfect V grind, so I don't want to say all, but a stone is perfectly flat. So it allows you to get a perfect V grind. Now, I'm not saying a perfect V grind is always superior. In fact, I think the most superior is a semi-convex edge. But a stone just gives you the ability to really get the apex to a really fine point, you know. So since you have the ability to make it ever so fine all the way up to the thinnest point and it be stable and hold it, then it's going to feel and be so much sharper than something that's a high powered belt, you know. You're going slower, and there's a lot of reasons. And then, like I said, diamonds from aluminum oxide, like we've seen tests the difference between aluminum oxide and diamonds, the edge retention is much better on certain steels when done on diamonds. Romeo, thank you for the 20 bones, man. I appreciate it. Medford knives on the second hand lose crazy value. Makes me sad collecting them. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I think I would say crazy value. It depends on how you treat them and how they are. I would say old ones, yes, if they're older, but Medford's came a long way in the past few years. I'd say if you get one like in the past year and then sold it this year or next year, you'd hold a lot of value at those. They hold pretty good value. But some knives, especially knives that are easier to get, that's the thing is Medford, you can get a Medford pretty easily. So since you can get it so easily, people can just say, okay, instead of spending $100 less, I'll spend $100 more and get a brand spanking new one, you know. So that's why. Ryan, we got a new member in the house. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. Noel Knives is in here. I didn't even see him in here. He says, I'm out, guys. Have a good night. Hope to see some of y'all at the pre-order tomorrow. Thank you for joining. Infraction was asymmetric. I put a very high bevel on it and it cut an empty cigarette tube. Posted that video too. Yeah, but you know, this is another thing. They're hand ground. They're hand ground, man. I've rarely seen a hand ground knife that was perfect. That literally the edge was perfect on both sides. The thickness was perfectly symmetrical. It's not easy, man. When you know, and Medfords are done by hand. You know, the grind. You know, and you can tell it's done by hand the way it turns. Um, so to me, when I sharpen knives like that, I give them some leeway. It's not done by a robot. It's not a fucking machine doing it. That's a human doing it. Humans they're imperfect. So I expect it to be as good as it could be. And as long as it's not like ridiculous, and I'll call it out if it's ridiculous. You know, like if it's on another level of ridiculous and like is you know, they should have just redid it. Okay. But if it's just like a little here and there, to me, I'm not worried about it. I'll just try to sharpen it in a way that makes it look better than because that's the thing. And what happens is just for everybody listening, if it's ground wrong. Like say if one side's ground a little deeper than another side, what'll happen is say if I do a 20-degree bevel on both sides, the one side will be bigger than the other side because the one side's thicker than the other side. The thicker it is behind the edge, the bigger your bevel will be. So if you have a 20-degree bevel on both sides, if one side's a little bit thicker and the other side's ground a little thinner, then you know your bevel's not going to look good. So now you'll have to make that up, you know, when you're sharpening and figure out what the difference is and yada yada. But yeah, that's why I tell anybody who gets into knife sharpening, be wary when you get some custom knives in. That's going to be the hardest shit you've ever done because you're going to get a custom knife in, and the request is going to be a low angle. They're going to request a low angle on a thick grind that was hand done, and you're going to see every imperfection come out. So now what almost looked like a decent edge from the factory that they gave it because it was a 30, 40 degree edge bevel, right? It was so obtuse you couldn't see any of the imperfections. But then once you drop it down to 15 degrees per side, and now you have a nice big bevel, it looks like a snake going down the knife. Like if there's thick spots, low spots, the tip's big as shit because it's the way it's ground. So you got to be careful, man, when you get into sharpening custom knives. they can be a fucking nightmare because it just depends on how good. And I've had some that were great. Some are great. The heat treats usually feel really good, but what I'm talking about is how they're ground, how perfect they are. I think I'm going to head out too. Probably gonna leave the Wednesday lives early with my new. Yeah, no problem, brother. I'm not sure if we're gonna be doing Wednesday. I do have a birthday party to go to. We'll see. I'll make a community post if not. Um, $4.99 from Romeo, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. People say Greg Medford is racist because of the incident at one of the Blade shows. Something about his shirt he was selling. Yeah, but that's not the reason why. They've been saying that for years before that. Years before that. He's not racist, man. People are just too damn sensitive. So when I hear him talk, he talks like just the normal people I've been around my whole life. So I don't hear nothing different, nothing weird, but some people are too fucking sensitive and they're not used to crass people, people that grew up on a job site or grew up in the military or grew around roughnecks and leathernecks and, people that really, grew up rough. So, they act rough, they talk rough, they don't care what people think and they're going to say what's on their mind. If it comes off racist, it comes off fucking racist. Who gives a fuck? Fuck you. That's kind of the way they think. It's the way you take it, right? You don't have to take it that way because that same person would break bread with you, offer, invite you into their home, give the shirt off their back to you, would save your life, would stop and pull over and help you on the side of the road. So to say that about somebody because the way they talk and everything, to me, it's fucking ridiculous. And the shirt he did was it was satire, so and it was making fun of specific people, not so I just don't fall for that shit, man. I'm not that sensitive. Yeah, it has to be downright like, pretty bad for me to call it that. Aaron, thank you for the 8-month membership. Can I pet that dog? Can I please pet that dog? Oh man, that's hilarious. Greg has no filter and he means what he says. I don't like most of his knives, but I have to say I agree with a lot of what he says. Medford heat treat was great. I have to say, yeah, I've always been happy with heat treats too. Um, his language didn't bother me at all. I work with Marines all day, every day. Yeah, then it shouldn't. It shouldn't bother you then. Most people that are gonna be around those types of people, and just the type of people that just say what's on their mind. It's kind of how I am. I don't really have a filter, even though I should, especially on here. And I try to filter myself a little bit on here because you kind of have to, but just like with anybody. But for the most part, I don't really have a filter. I just kind of just say what's on my mind. So I can understand how somebody's words can be taken out of context or used against them. But you just don't care, fuck it. If you're gonna take what I say and take it out of context and fill it in with what you want. Romeo, thank you, man. Another 20 bones. That's how I feel, man. People just cry babies. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, if you're gonna take something what I say and run with it, left, I don't give a shit. Go ahead. I think more people, especially today, I think the past few years, people were really sensitive, and I think now people are just done with it. People want the old times back, because back in the day, man, we used to say anything and everything. That's the thing, man. Like when I was growing up, like it was just normal, man. Normal to say whatever the fuck you wanted to say about anybody and about anything. You could have three races together and they would all be saying racist shit to each other. And it was just funny because you were all friends, right? You all broke bread together. You'd fight together. You'd go, fishing together, go to school together. You slept next to each other on the floor, so you shared food, so, you knew that you guys weren't. So to say ridiculous shit was just normal. And all of a sudden, people fucking got sensitive, like so sensitive. And I don't know if it's, the damn plastic in the the food or what. Oh man. Um I'm not running anywhere anymore. I always taught you to tell the truth, and there's no problem with that. I'm going to say good night. Love you. And good night, Mom. I love you too. Thank you for jumping in. You should hear that shit that the filter does catch. Oh, there is money in being a victim. And if there is a victim, there's got to be a perp. Yeah. Yeah. The problem is that there's been way too many. And now, like I said, I think people are getting sick of it. People are seeing through it. It's kind of like what's happening with Russell Brand right now. I'm sure you guys all know that, right? I call bullshit. I don't believe not a bit of it. Not a bit of it. I don't believe none of it. They do that to everybody. It's kind of like what they're doing to the Tates, what they're doing. Like, it's so stupid to me. Anybody, it seems like that's on a specific goal of like calling out high powered people, they, yeah, they put through the ringer. So I don't believe any of it. And I think the same thing goes for like regular people. Like you see so many people making videos on people talking shit about other people that and about stupid stuff and it just being ridiculous. And it's like, how is this even, you know, how is this even a topic? People are sick of it. People are seeing right through it. They know better. Which is good because, man, I started getting scared for a minute. I literally got scared. I thought you guys were never going to get your heads out of your asses and never see through the bullshit. I started fearing that. Like, are people just going to go backwards and retarded and not see through all this bullshit and see how, how petty this is and how bad this is for society, for all of us to have safe spaces? It's not good. I mean, the EDC community is hot garbage losers. Anyhow, so can the goofball do any more harm than fuck faces? Oh, shit, it jumped. Oh, I got it right here, luckily. Posting pretty pics of never used garbage and fucking children toys. What the hell? Thanks, James. I appreciate it, man. Romeo with another 10 bones, man. Thank you, Romeo. Romeo's throwing out them bones. Just picked up the Medford Sunflower Mini. I don't know if I know that one. Love you, love Medford. I love you too, brother. I don't know what that one is. I'm gonna have to look that one up really quick. Medford Sunflower, is that real? Oh, if I believe, I didn't find nothing. Okay. That with a is it just like an art design? Oh, you're talking about just the design. It's not as is it the Praetorian? Let me get back over here. You're talking about the design? We live in the age of weaponized victimhood. Yeah, and that's not good. That's what I mean. It is not good. Like being a victim is a bad thing. Admitting you're a victim is a bad thing. Don't ever admit that shit. To me, that's just foolish. You know, you should aspire to be tougher than your situations and the things around you so that you can grow from it. Right? It's not what's happening to you. It's always everything and anything is just a chance. It's a chance for you to get stronger, tougher, smarter, whatever. Right? Like there's ways to look at it, like you can look at it like something bad happened to you, or you can look at it like this thing was given to me to get through so I can get stronger for this next thing, right? There's so many different ways. Like say you popped your tire, right? You popped your tire. Oh shit, well, that gave you a chance to work on your car or to get a little exercise in, or maybe you have a kid, maybe it gave you a little time with your kid, to teach him how to fix a tire. Like there's so many different ways to look at it rather than just the bad way. And we're not victims, man. And I'm not saying there's not victims out there, but you should not want to be a victim. You should want to be an overcomer and somebody who refuses to be a victim. That's what people should aspire to be. DB97 with the 799. Thank you, brother. Good baby banter. Penguin mini alternatives. Multiple deployments would be sick. Huh. Well, they have the new baby banter with the Warncliffe blade. So you could go that route. But you're looking for something tiny, tiny. Spyderco's got a couple. Dragonfly, but they're not multiple deployments, though. They're not multiple, so I guess this wouldn't work for you, but you got the old Dragonfly. I don't even know what this one's called. The hell is this one called? The Leaf or something? It's a little sucker, but you want multiple deployments, so it's kind of dumb showing you these. I actually showed a mini knife earlier. Go check that out. I showed you a really cool one earlier on the channel. It was the first video I posted today. That one is it's right here. This little sucker. It's not multiple deployments. It's, well, thumb and reverse flick, so. But it's kind of cool. It's a little schmitty. I posted the video earlier. You can go check it out. Came for the NAF, stayed for the philosophy. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. And we can talk about knives. We don't have to get into the weeds. All right. K390 Warney is the best keychain knife idea. Oh, Dragonfly. K390 Warney Dragonfly is the best keychain knife ever. I haven't tried that, but I do got some emulsion from Lacey, if it'll focus, that I got from her. So I'll be testing this stuff out. I haven't had an opportunity to test it yet, so I'll be testing that stuff pretty soon. See how it is. Thank you. I appreciate you sending that. I wish they would reproduce the Kiwi again. Damn it. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of knives that, to me, it's like, man, why did they discontinue that? It was so good. EDC and Laceman, you're absolutely a knife fanatic. I see you everywhere. You definitely surf through the channels. Yes, Lacey definitely. Yeah, she's on top of that shit. Does anyone have a way to fix 100% lockup on your liner lock? No, not without throwing in a steel lock bar insert. Or you can put a bigger stop pin in. That's the only two ways. So you can take out your stop pin and get a bigger one, or you can add an attachment, or some people carbonize. That's another way you can do it. Like if it's a titanium liner, you can carbonize the lock face. It'll add some, some more to the top of it. So there is ways to do it, but usually it's just like get a new knife. You've worn it out. Love my K390 Warney Delica. Had to grab one before they're gone for good. That K390, man, is a beast. That's personally my favorite steel right now. Now, I love 15V, and I'm saying that in the same bucket because it feels very similar, but I only have one example of it, so I've only been able to test one. With K390, I've had lots of them in for sharpening. I've had a couple. I got a chip in my damn edge. Anyways, the one thing I do think I like K390 a little bit more than 15V, though. I do. What's my latest purchase? My latest purchase, well, I purchased this like a week or so ago. The K-Bar TDI flipper. What else? Oh, the Rook. Oh, is it up here? I think I have it put away. The Rook from Serge Panchico. Fucking $1,000 knife. But yeah, those are my last purchases, I believe. Jared, you got to try Golden 10V. If you haven't, it's incredible, incredibly aggressive. Comes up with such a wicked, crisp, and aggressive. I haven't tried their 10V. I've tried 10V before. I love 10V. It's very similar to K390, but I haven't tried any from Spyderco though. What's my favorite knife of all time? Well, my favorite shape would probably be something like this. as far as shape goes, but this wouldn't be my favorite knife. Um, I see it's tough, man. I have so many that I absolutely love, but I think like the Manix is one of the most perfect knives as far as how it's built and everything. The lock is a perfect lock for EDC. It's a strong lock. You can open and close it over and over and over and over and over, and it's always going to be rock solid lockup. Um, it's just super solid, super fidgety. The blade shape, everything's really good on it. I think the Manix is one of the best knives ever made. That being said, I would love to see that lock on a lot of other designs. You know, like if this thing had a ball lock, oh my fucking goodness, that'd be so awesome. This thing has its own issues, you know. So I think Spyderco right now is doing the best when it comes to a lot of stuff just because of their heat treatments. It goes such a long way when you with heat treatments, man, with the steels when they're really good. But there's a lot of companies doing a really good job out there too, like Riat, man. Riat's kicking ass. If Riat was in the USA, man, those knives would be so fucking much money. They're just killing it. But I want to say anything that I'm going to say is my favorite, it's going to have to be USA made. Antimatter with the 5 bones. Jared, you just did a video and sharpened the Medford TFF-1 S90V. How did it feel in stone? I haven't sharpened it yet. I still got it on the bench. I'll be doing it very soon. But every Medford I've ever sharpened felt really good. I have yet to have felt a Medford that didn't feel good. Dan Cad's in the house. Shout out to Dan. What's up, brother? Talked to him on the phone the other day. Welcome back, man. Welcome back. He's been hiding in the darkness. Is the Shark Lock a lock that can be opened and closed repeatedly with little wear? Yeah, I think so. I think that's another good example of a lock that can. So, like a crossbar lock, it is, but it can't because of the Omega springs. So, Omega springs break. Does that mean it's a bad knife? No. Just buy extra Omega springs. You can make them yourself. So, if you just buy yourself some memory wire, you'll always have Omega springs because you'll never break them that often, right? I have some knives like my Griptilian has never had them replaced. This is my oldest, not my oldest, it's one of my oldest Benchmades, and it's never broken them. But I have other ones that broke multiples in a row. But you can buy the aftermarket ones for $6-7. But Shark Locks, yes, Shark Locks use the same type of spring as what's in the Manix, which is a spring that's a lot more reliable than an Omega spring. And that's the thing, is that using a spring that is made for, long-term shit. Riat's K390 is baller too. I'm not sure if I've tried their K390. Oh, wait, no, I did. I have tried it. I haven't tested it though, but I do got some. I do have some. I want a Manix or a Shaman and never buy a knife again. The Shaman and the Manix are both awesome. Another one that's just a really good shape. I'm not a big fan of backlocks. I want to be clear. I'm not a big fan of backlocks. But the Spyderco Stretch is a damn good design. That knife design is so perfect to me. Like the blade shape, the grind, the ergonomics, everything with that knife is really, really good. I was lucky enough to get an LMAX Shaman. Coil springs will typically do a lot better than the Omega springs. Yeah, they typically always do. I wouldn't even say typically. I'd say they're guaranteed to. Not saying that coil springs can't break or can't wear out, but one thing that's cool is you can always just stretch them. If they start getting too smashed, you just stretch them. And you can always replace them pretty easily. They're pretty easy to find and get. Same thing with Omega springs. Does the $80 HAPSTONE microscope with the LCD have an output option too? How well does it work? Money aside, which microscope did you? So I don't have that exact one. The one I have is probably a little bit lower quality than that one, and you can hook it up to your computer. It's actually what it's made for. So like the one I have, it's made to where I can look at it right there. And what we're talking about is a microscope for edges. So you can put your edges underneath it and see it on the microscope. So with mine, it looks good, But if I hook it up to a computer, it looks even better. Like they're just a little bit more, I don't know, better clarity or whatever. So you should be able to hook it up to your computer, no problem. My Demco with Shark Lock just opens and closes one-handed every time, and I love it. I missed the reaction on Whack X. Whack X. Stretch 2 is my EDC. Its blade is almost identical to a PM2. Yeah, there's other ones, though. There's different stretches. So there's some with that other blade shape that I also like. I like them all. John Whack. Oh man. I appreciate you guys hanging out though, man. I was lucky enough to, I read that one. But yeah, man, there's a lot of incredible knives, like the Chris Reeves, right? The Chris Reeves Sabenza. I absolutely love that. I think that's one of the most attractive knives. Just the look of it is just so damn. That's why it's so popular and like Instagram and stuff. It's when you take pictures, it's almost like a Sabenza can't take a bad picture. There's some knives you're trying to get the right angle and trying to get the right background and blah blah blah. Sabenzas, man, they're ready for the camera. And there's something about that that's appealing, it's very eye appealing. Now with me, I look at the use. I'm use first. So if it looks useful, like if the grind and blade shape look like a useful blade shape, the sharpening choil, the hardware, if all those things look capable and strong and heavy duty or whatever, then it's appealing to me. And that's what I see in the Sabenza. I love the way it looks. I think it looks super solid, super sexy. Love the grind, the nice deep hollow grind it has on that beautiful drop point blade, the neutral ergonomics with the hella access to the lock bar. You guys know how much I love access to the lock bar. But I wouldn't say that's the best knife ever. I got one right here. Is it a great knife? Yeah, especially if you replace the thumb studs. So that's what I did. I got new thumb studs on mine. Badass thumb studs too. Mine's super smooth now, but it is older and it has been used up. It's been sharpened a lot, but it's still running strong, and that's the beauty with a good plunge grind. What? What? No, but Taylor Martin's in here now. Yeah, somebody asked me about Stuart the Duck. Yeah. Best damn EDC's in the house. Oh, look, I'm bad again. Yeah, I think we stuck up for you though, bud. I think we stuck up for you. I don't know if you've seen the beginning. We played the video from what is it, Marine X, his video on you. I'm sure you've seen it. If not, go watch it. That's what we just watched. But yeah, I don't think anybody said anything really bad about you. I'd say that most of the stuff was pretty good feedback. People were pretty much just calling him a hater. And it kind of was. But what are you gonna do, right? When you get a channel as big as yours, you're gonna have that. I'd take it as a compliment. You should you definitely should take it as a compliment. I was saying that about me, like if anybody makes a video about me, I'm it's definitely a compliment to me. True Golden's M390 is better. That with Blue G10 run was excellent, much better than their 20 CV. Well, 20 CV and M390 are pretty much the same thing. Does Kara have any knife designs? She actually does. What's hilarious is it's very similar to the to that knife I showed just a minute ago, that little mini knife. Where did you get the thumb stud? I got the thumb studs from Etsy. Etsy carries really good Chris Reeves thumb studs. They're all titanium. Yeah. Etsy. Etsy has a lot of great things as far as like for aftermarket parts and things like that. Have you ever seen or held a knife from Who Knives? They're a UK legal knife company, but done to a high standard. M390 blades with titanium scales on ceramic bearings. But yeah, if you want to see that that video, best damn EDC, you can just rewind to the beginning. We played it pretty much right when we started the live. Or you can just go watch his yourself. But if you want to hear what I said. How does one go about designing a knife? Because I have a drawn up design I would love to have made. You have to do one of two things. Either one, get a hold of somebody who actually knows how to do CAD work, or you can, if you have a name, you can just reach out to the company and they'll let you just draw them a picture because they have people that do CAD and everything. So they'll be able to put it on paper pretty easily. But if you don't have a following or anything like that, that's not going to be probably possible for you. If you just call up a company and send them a drawing, they're going to laugh at you. But they do have the ability to do something with that if you know them. But the best thing to do is contact somebody who knows how to do CAD work so that you can give them a picture. They can put it in CAD, get it into a file to where all the measurements are good, and then they can send it to a company, and then you can pick the company to send it to that company, and then they can tell you if it's something they're willing to do. Dan CAD donated 20 members. Holy shit. Shout out to all the new members. I appreciate Dan, man. He's awesome, man. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much, man. That's a lot of money. I appreciate it, man. Hell yeah. Shout out to all the new members. We do technically have a Bang Gang member live this week, Sunday. We might have to change the times. We'll see. But as far as right now goes, it's going on 12:15 Central Time at noon. So for all the new members, yeah, I was initially interested in the little native until I held it and realized how small it was. Yeah. So she said, money talks and bullshit walks as usual. So I want to talk about this fragrance really quick. I do have a link down in the description, and I have another one I want to talk about. So I was talking about the Alexandria fragrances before. If you guys don't know, I do fragrance of the day. We'll get through it quick. I know not a lot of you guys are not into fragrances, but a lot of you guys are, and a lot of you guys have gotten into it recently. So this is Bazooka by Alexandria, and it is fire. I'm probably gonna have to get the big bottle just to show you the note breakdown really quick. So it's a heavy citrus right on top, and it's got like a pink pepper right on top, and then it has tobacco and leather in the bottom. So basically, I'll show you the breakdown of it. You guys can see the citrus, warm, spicy, aromatic, tobacco, leather, fresh, spicy, cinnamon, woody, earthy, and sweet. The sweetness does come out of it after a minute. Let's go down here. So you can see the top notes: grapefruit, bergamot. This is a resin and pink pepper. That is exactly what it smells like as soon as you spray it. This is the first thing you smell, but this slowly breaks down, and then the saffron and paprika starts coming through. The cinnamon, I don't really smell too much cinnamon, but you start smelling the leather, the tobacco, and the vetiver coming through, and a little bit of sweetness, just a little bit. So it's really subtle, but super mass appealing, super good. That pink pepper kind of gets you right at first because it's lemon pink pepper, but something about it is appealing and just makes you want to sniff it more. And but it does settle down. The citrus does settle down, and then the leather and the tobacco starts coming out. It gets really good. Just the top of it's good too. You know, I'm not saying the first initial spray isn't good, because it is, but it gets even better during the dry down. That is a fire one. So highly recommend that. Now I want to really quickly talk about another one that I've talked about many times before. This one is Coach Platinum. This is another leather fragrance. I figure it's getting colder, right? We're getting into the colder seasons. So I'm trying to recommend fragrances that are for those weathers, right? That are really good for the colder, rainier type of weathers, which these are. Now, the first one I just said, this one's summer, winter. This one doesn't matter. It's pretty much just any time. But this next one, I'd say it's kind of any time, but it especially will go good in the colder. So not colder, but like during season changes and stuff. So you can see it's woody, fresh, spicy, aromatic, vanilla, powdery, sweet, fruity, warm, spicy, musky, and leather. Leather is what you get the most. It is definitely a leather scent. It's more of a suede type of leather. Let me see if it has the breakdown here. So you have pineapple, black pepper, juniper berries. Then the mid notes are cashmere, sage, geranium. And then the bottom notes are vanilla, leather, sandalwood, and patchouli. You really get, it smells like suede. It literally smells like you just jumped in to a new car that has brand new leather seats, and you can smell the wood grain and the leather all together. That's what it smells like. It's really good. And I love it, especially if you mix it with Coach for Men. This is a fantastic blue fragrance. So it basically smells super fresh, super clean, fresh out of the shower, like super mass appealing. Like anybody's going to love this scent. But when you mix them with the leather and this, it works really good. Now, the last one I'm going to talk about really quick, because these are leather fragrances, is one more leather fragrance, which is Armani Code Absolute. Now, Armani Code Absolute is really good. I did not link it down in the description because you can find it at discounters a lot cheaper than I can link it. But it is so good, man. It's creamy, it's sweet, it's leathery. It's just fucking beautiful, man. This is such a good fragrance. When I first got it, I was not like a huge fan of it, but it was okay. But then after I sprayed it a few times and I kept coming back to it, you realize like it almost changes on you. And it seems like it went from creamy to sweeter. But it is you can see the note breakdown right here. It does have the leather and woodiness in there. So that's why I'm putting it on this list. And you can see the note breakdown right here. Green, mandarin, and apple is the top notes. Nutmeg, orange blossom, and carrot seed in the middle. Vanilla, tonka bean, suede, and woody notes. So you can see the breakdown right there. It's a beautiful scent, and a lot of people like this fragrance. Now, any of the fragrances I show, get a sample. Don't just buy them. Get a sample. See, but get a big sample. Get a sample at least this big, if not bigger. Like the big lipstick tubes are the ones you want to get, but if you have to save money, get one of these, something like this size. Just make sure it's a sprayer. Make sure it's not the ones where you got to like dab it on. Because man, you really don't, you can either love it or hate it. That with any fragrance. Any fragrance is going to depend on you and how you are and everything else. So test them out, and then you can get yourself a nice badass selection of some smell goods. Damn, that smells so good. Damn it. Whoa, Dan Cat just donated another 10 members. Damn. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it, man. Holy shit. That's 30 new members, man. He's keeping us going, man. Thank you, Dan. I do greatly appreciate it. That is awesome, man. Holy shit. I'm gonna be the replay gang on this. Trying to watch the Marine exhibit. Oh, you're watching it right now? Okay. Yeah, Daniel's popping off with the memberships. My ex Hubs wears that absolutely sexy scent. Oh, the absolute? Yeah, it is. It's beautiful, man. Such a beautiful scent. I did pull out one other one, but I'm not going to talk about it. But it has a little bit of like, I don't even like black licorice, but it has a black licorice-ness to it. But it's actually really good, and it's definitely a winter fragrance. Super powerful, super spicy, super pungent. But man, people just fucking love it though. And the one I'm talking about is Sauvage Elixir. It's kind of expensive. It's super popular right now because it is very different from anything you smell. Super powerful though, man. I used to say it kind of smells like spicy grapefruit. Samples is a nice idea to buy fragrance in the future. Yes. I mean, if it's one like if I say something's mass appealing, then that usually means anybody's gonna like it. But there's some fragrances that I would say are mass appealing, but there's going to be people that don't like it. So that's why you'd still want to get a sample just in case, you know. Yeah, Elixir is awesome. Yeah. No, I think it's awesome. But like I said, it is, to me personally, it's a winter fragrance. I could never pull this off in the heat of the summer. It's good though. It is really good. I used to say it smells like you took a glass and filled it up with grape juice and just poured a whole bottle of pepper in there and then a little splash of cinnamon and mixed it up. And that's kind of what it smells like. But I think it does have black licorice in it though. I've never seen a fragrance guide. I just try to smell clean. People tell me my detergent smells good. So that's enough for me. Hey, whatever works for you. Nothing wrong with wanting to smell different day to day. Nothing wrong with wanting to stand out a little bit. You don't have to go crazy, but it's good to smell good, you know. You don't want, it's better than fucking stinking, I'll tell you that much. But you don't spray cologne because you stink, right? You're supposed to shower for that, right? You spray cologne or a fragrance, right? To smell different than everybody else. You know, and it is attractive. It definitely you know, there's a lot of things that happens from smells. You know, there's so many different things that go off, you know, and if like you're trying to get a job, if you're trying to get a date, if you're trying to get a girl, whatever, it doesn't matter. You know, the way you smell can come off either a good way or a bad way. And it's also, it does something to you too. Like when you walk around, just like kind of like with anything, if you're wearing nice clothes, if you're wearing nice boots, if you're wearing nice shoes, it makes you feel a certain type of way. You walk around with your head high a little bit more. Same thing with the fragrance. When you're smelling good and feeling good, you are good, you know. It's kind of like even like with your car, right? Like when you freshly detail it and it looks brand new and it looks so good, you just got the wax on it, it fucking makes you feel good. It's way too loud for the summer. Tons of throw. Yeah, yeah. How is this knife talk? I'm very sleepy with this kind. Well, then fucking change it up, man. Give me something else. I only had the one thing for tonight. Have you ever tried Frey laundry detergent that makes body wash and shampoo as well? It's pretty great. I have not. But yeah, I mean having a good you know, good detergent and soaps for the shower is really good too. I mean, obviously stay clean for sure. Um, maybe future YouTube good content, but not what I'm looking for. Good night, guys. All right, Tom. Take it easy, man. We're almost done anyways. I'm confident even after 2 days of not showering. He's spraying something good. Um, so before we end it, let's end on some knives. So you guys, I've already talked about it. The knife design will be available for pre-order October 1st. So if you guys do want to get your hands on it, October 1st, you will be able to pre-order and you should have it delivered at the beginning of November, probably by November 15th at the latest. You can get it with or without the karambit ring, or you can get it without the karambit ring with a karambit ring attachment. So you can just slap that on there, and then you will have a single-sided karambit ring. And G10 is very tough, so it's impact resistant. So you can hit with that thing pretty damn good, and it'll be bigger. The ring, the final ring. I'm waiting for the production versions. Once I get them, man, I'm gonna be going crazy. I'm gonna make some more videos. Me and Tim are talking about going live together and talking about it. I'm gonna make a video talking about where I got the design from, and like and I've told a couple of the stories before on the channel of things that's happened to me and where like I kind of got the design aspect from and what I designed it around. If you're a gent skeptical of fragrances, just do yourself a favor and buy a bottle of cool water. It's cheap, inoffensive, and smells fresh and clean. Yeah, I would say there's a lot of affordable fragrances. The Versace Dylan Blue. Versace Dylan Blue is like $40. You can get this fragrance right now down in the links right now, down in my description for $42. A big bottle, not this little bottle, like a full-size bottle. But for Versace Dylan Blue, you can get a full like 60 ml bottle or something for like $40, and that is one of the best smelling fragrances on the planet. Nobody will dislike that. Nobody. And I recommend all men should have Versace Dylan Blue. What's the blade length on the FNL? Well, it's got to, so we were trying to make it legal everywhere. There might be subject to change on this one. So it's under 3 inches, 2.5 on the actual cutting edge, but that's going to be shrunken down just a little bit. So it'll be a little bit less than that on cutting edge. So we want it to be Cali legal and shit like that, or at least as much as possible. Do you even karambit, bruh? Believe it or not, I preferred how my man smelled the following evening after he showered the night before and went to work and came home. I guess it's the pheromones that warm, you're safe with me smell. Yeah, that goes for a lot of men. Like there's a difference between having the pheromone smell and smelling like shit though. Just walking in after sweating and working and having, your scent on you is one thing. But that also, if you're not in love, if you don't care for that person yet, that might not be, the best smell. So it just depends on you and who you're around and what they like. But yeah, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that goes for the majority of people. But even like say a woman, right? Like from a guy's perspective, if a woman has been exercising or something, it might be somewhat attractive, the smell just a little bit, but it's even more attractive to me if she's like fresh out of the shower, and like smelling really nice. But but yeah, pheromones is a huge thing. There's even fragrances that have like certain pheromones in them for on purpose. People that would buy your knife won't give a flying fart about legal. Well, we wanted it as legal as possible to carry everywhere. That's the point. Like, obviously, like a lot of the military, they're not going to give a shit. A lot of people aren't going to give a shit. But for the people that do want to get it and want something because they're in bad, because let's just be fucking honest, right? Let's be fucking honest. The worst places for you to be are the places with the worst laws, right? The most dangerous places for you to be are going to be in areas that have the worst and most restricted laws. So, being that that's a fact, it'd be better if you could carry something. And if you did have to use it, God forbid, it's at least a legal self-defense tool and it's going to do the maximum damage. We, the people, have the right to keep and bear arms and knives. Yeah, no, I agree. Trust me, I agree. I hate the thought of even talking about that because to me, it's all an infringement, every bit of it. And I honestly think you could beat almost any case if you just take it to if you just, keep pushing it and take it to the Supreme Court because, for anything, even if you're a felon, man, I don't even think they could really get you, because you're supposed to have your constitutional rights. But yeah, that's why, man, we gotta, I don't know. I'm not going to get into politics. Fuck that. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I have never really noticed scent that much. Then I stopped using the old heroin and my sense of smell came right back and now I enjoy nice scents. That happens. Yes, that happens. Oh, just like smoking. Smoking will do that to you too. If you smoke a lot, you lose like half of your scent, your smells. Food doesn't taste, the food tastes completely different after you quit smoking. Yeah, so you will be able to choose double edge. You have to choose it though. Jared, I hope there will be an FLN option without the double edge. Legal issue in my state. Yes, you can choose with or without. So when you pre-order it, you can choose to have single edge. We figure half the people are going to want single edge, half the people are going to want double. Everybody knows the holy trinity of knives is Reeves, Hinder, and Strider. But did you know the holy trinity of knife reviewers is Shabazz, MC, and Neeves? Thank you, Walsh. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. That's awesome, man. That's true about smack. Once I got clean, all my favorite foods changed. Yeah. Yeah, man, there's a lot of drugs, man. When you're on drugs are bad. They definitely change a lot. Your smells, your taste, everything. Even your ambition. And I think a lot of it is your mental, like your brain. Your brain is chemically imbalanced. So it's not thinking logically. It's weird because like when you're really addicted to drugs, like you could be starving, fucking starving, and you could have food right there or fucking drugs, and you're gonna choose the drugs even though you're fucking starving, because you can't eat without the drugs. It's kind of fucked up. Thank you, Todd. Yes, Hapstone Sharpening Supplies. I do have that video coming very soon. I plan on working on it this week. I have a bunch of sharpening stuff I have to do this week, including that Medford. So I'm going to get to all that shit. And the Hapstone sharpening system will be reviewed very soon. I do like it a lot. I will say that already. I have one little issue with it, but it's not like a big enough issue to not recommend. But really good system for the price, man. For like $200, man, it's way better than a damn KME. Like the KME better step up their game after this fucker, because there's no reason to buy a KME with this Hapstone system, because KME uses 1x4. This uses 1x6. So I guess you could say the KME does come with stones at $200, though. The Hapstone does not come with the stones at $200. So that is the one thing. It depends on the geometry of the knife. What knife is it? Depends on the knife, depends on the geometry, depends on what you're doing. I would say just a good average angle for most things is going to be 17, between 17 and 20. If you want a tough edge, go more of a 20. If you want more of a slicey edge, a little bit less toughness, go 17. Then if you really want a slicey fucking edge, but you don't care nothing about toughness, I mean nothing about toughness, you can go down to 15 degrees. 15 degrees is going to be extremely slicey and extremely sharp, but it's not going to have a lot of edge stability for impact. So you can't smack it against things. You have to just cut with it. But if you want it to be a little bit tougher than that and still pretty slicey, go 17. And if you want more toughness and still nice and sharp, but maybe not necessarily as sharp and is not slicey, 20 degrees. Hapstone also has a $40 guided option for bench stones. I'm going to have to check that out. I didn't see that. Huh. Vision FG. Oh, the Vision FG. I'd go 17. That's what I would do. I'd go 17 on that. Just rewind to the beginning. We played it all at the beginning. It was a reaction to Marine X's video, him talking shit. I don't know about talking shit, but him kind of talking shit about Best Damn EDC. So I was just kind of watching it and reacting to it and giving my feedback. MC Knife Reviewer, he raps about knife designs. That's great. Oh, that's great. Tori says, I spent a lot of time overseas. Nothing worse than a bad BO trying to be covered up with scents. Facts. That makes it even worse. Way worse. No, that's not good. Your fragrance should not cover up your smell bad. It should be an additive to you smelling good. Yeah, if you stink, you stink. Nitro V has pretty decent toughness, yes. So you can probably get away with a slightly more slicey edge, yes. Nitro V is very tough. It's extremely tough. It does good at low angles. So if you wanted to go to 15, you'd have no problem going to 15. But like I said, but that does drastically change its ability to be tough. So while it's a tough steel and it does really well at low angles, 15 degrees is a great angle and it'll be plenty tough as long as you're only cutting with it. But if you're planning on doing any kind of impact or anything like that, like if you're hitting staples and shit, then go with 17. Cool. Thanks for all your great budget knife reviews. Happy I discovered your channel. I appreciate that, Apple Juice. Thank you so much, man. What's your opinion of DMT dual plates? So I'm not a big fan of the dual-sided plates. DMT plates are good, but the thing is that you can get, there's more affordable ones. I just say get a Toma. If you want the best, go with a Toma. That's going to be the best diamond plates. Second to that would probably be DMT, but for the same type of plates as DMT, you can get it from Ultra Sharp for way less money. But Tomas are more money, but they're worth it. They last like probably 3 to 4 times as long as like the DMTs and the Ultra Sharps. So, a Tomas is what I would go with. When I was a kid, we had a friend we called, what was it? What? When I was a kid, we had a friend we called Shower in a Bottle. He kept an Axe spray bottle in his cargo pants. Shower in a bottle. That's hilarious. Absolutely. Applications is a big consideration about edge angles too. Yes. Yep. Depending on what you're doing. Because the same knife in 2 different people's hands, it could be a different answer. Just like Spyderco's, right? Most Spyderco's, or at least not all of them, but a lot of them are 15 degrees per side with like a 22-degree micro bevel from the factory. When you get it home, most people just do, between 15 and 17 degrees, and they don't worry about the micro bevel. But if you're going to be really hard on it, right? If you're going to be really tough on it, then you might want that micro bevel, right? So it just depends. There's so many factors with, edge use and, the steels, the actual geometry of the knife, your use. Hey, Jared, I bought a Cold Steel 8010. Thank you, John. I appreciate the 2 bones. Hell yeah. Which did you get, the Tonto or the drop point? I'm still pissed that I bought the Tonto and they showed up as a drop point. Fuckers. Italian shower. What's your opinion on tungsten carbide blades and sharpening them? So if you're going to sharpen them, you have to do it at fine grits. So you can't sharpen them at low grits. That's the biggest thing. So, honestly, I'd recommend just doing it on a belt sharpener. But if you're going to do it on stones, just make sure you don't use coarse stones. Use finer grit stones. But they're tough. I mean, kind of like doing ceramic. Jared, the guided bench stone system HAPSTONE T1 is in stock at Gritomatic, but I have the HAPSTONE link though. So why would you want to use the Gritomatic one? I got a HAPSTONE link. You can get anything you want from HAPSTONE. But I also got a link for Gritomatic too. For what it costs for a 3-pack of Neevesknives stones, 4-inch or 6-inch set, they are definitely worth the money for the longevity you get. Yes, that's going to be my most recommended stones is Neevesknives. But the thing is Neevesknives are very expensive. But the thing is they last like 20 fucking years. So, you get your money out of them. That's the beauty with resin bonded diamonds. They're diamond stones, but they're resin bonded, so they allow you to they can be used for so many years. Even if you are somebody who sharpens all the time, they're still going to last a long time for you. You rarely hear somebody wearing out a resin bonded diamond stone. And I'm not saying they don't, because I know like knife sharpeners, like professional knife sharpeners that take in jobs. They definitely wear them out, but man, they're sharpening like a dozen knives a day. Who the fuck does that? Jared, the T1 is out of stock at HAPSTONE. Is it? Well, I right now am testing the RS, which is pretty dope. I don't know about the T1. Yeah, the Sandrin. Yeah, I tried one of those out before. It was pretty cool. If you wrote a book, would it be an autobiography or a guide to sharpening? Also, thoughts on Guerlain Vetiver. So I have a bunch of Guerlains. I don't have the Vetiver. So a lot of people love the smell of vetiver. There's it just depends, because like vetiver, it has to be mixed right. I'm sure it smells great. All Guerlains. I haven't smelt one Guerlain that doesn't smell fucking phenomenal. So I would say your chances are really good. It probably smells really good. But as far as the books, I'd probably do an autobiography. I wouldn't mind doing a sharpening one, but it'd probably be like a video videos where people pay like for, you know, to get like a set of videos and have like specifically broke down in order. It'd take a lot of work though, man. Just learn to freehand. Well, watch my videos, you can learn. Handled AB 9 of the Sandra Monza, and they were all consistent. About 9 of the Sandra. Okay. The one I tried was dope. I didn't have no problems. Why did somebody say something about them being bad? But yeah, not everybody can learn freehand. Or everybody can, but not everybody wants to. Not everybody's got the patience and the determination. Excuse me, guys. The determination to do it, you know, and you have to have that. You have to be determined. You have to want to, you know, because it does take a lot of patience, and you have to sit there with yourself and do bad. Like you have to. You have to be able to fuck an edge up and, you know, and keep working at it and working at it and fuck it up even more and fucking it up even more until you're finally doing really good. Opinions on HAPSTONE versus the new work sharp. HAPSTONE. So the thing is that the work sharp is really good. It's really, really good. But you're getting pretty much a solid metal construction from HAPSTONE. With the work sharp, you're getting mostly plastic and some metal. So that's going to be one of the downsides. Now, there are some really good qualities of the work sharp. The work sharp's really good. It really is. For $250, it's really good. But the HAPSTONE so this is the thing, is that if you only have $250, only 250, you should probably go with the work sharp. But if you have over $250, then go with the HAPSTONE because you're still going to have to buy stones. The work sharp comes with stones, comes with a strap, comes with a ceramic, comes with an angle guide, comes with everything. So you're pretty much loaded up with everything you need there. Now, if you want to replace the stones, that's another story. Or if you want to use different stones, I should say. With the HAPSTONE, you can use any stones you want, but you have to purchase them. But you can purchase them from their site. But the system, you know, the one system I'm reviewing right now is a $200 machine. But that's without the stones. I do most of my sharpening on a work sharp Ken Onion belt system. Occasionally, I have a need for a mirror edge. I'm not good at freehand, but it is the best way to finish when using a belt system. What is the best way to finish when using a belt system? So if you're going to use a belt system, which I have that, so I know about it. So if you're wanting a polish, you're come off the polishing belt from the work sharp. So they have the work sharp that goes all the way to the polishing belt. Take it all up to the polishing belt, and then get a stropping compound that's lower micron or lower grit than your polishing belt. With the work sharp, you have the belts, the leather strap, or sorry, the leather belts. You can put any abrasive on there. So what I would do is I would, instead of using the abrasives, buy new ones and don't put the abrasive on there that comes with it. Put some gunny juice on there. Put some gunny juice or some stroppy stuff, or maybe some stuff from Lacey. Put some of that stuff on there and use that instead. It'll give you a better fine polish. You know, and then you can always go to hand stropping after that. That's probably what I would do. Yes, it's bedtime for me. It is definitely past my bedtime. Yeah, they have the whatever belts. I don't know if they're exactly leather, but they're stropping belts. Whatever the fuck. They're stropping belts. That's what I mean. I got a set, so I know they sell them. Are you still looking for Benchmade bailouts? Green with glass breaker. Why, do you got one? If you're willing to hold it, I can't buy it right now, man. I'm fucking flat, absolute broke right now. We are fucking paying taxes from last year and this year, and they got us hard this month. So, like, real hard. Don't they sell leather belts for the work sharp? Oh, did you say they didn't? I'm saying, yeah, they do. I don't know if they're leather, but they're like leather. I think they're leather, but I don't know. They're belts. They're belts with some type of surface for the polishing compound. It's for stropping. It's a stropping belt that they do have. Not me, Alice, Mr. Sleepyhead live stream. You guys are funny. All right, I'll get out of here. You guys are too funny. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys hitting the like button and showing so much love. Sorry this wasn't as entertaining as you guys wanted to me. I'm sitting here fucking yawning and shit. But yeah, I love you guys. Saturday, like I said, I do have a birthday. I'm not 100% if I'll be here for the live, so I'll make a community post otherwise. But I love you guys. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.